Dear ones, welcome. It's so great to have you here. The world as we know is chaos outside. Twists and turns, and we rarely find the moment to begin to rest and to be at peace. I haven't been posting much lately, it's been a few months, because the world is chaos outside, and rare is it time to have a moment of rest and peace. I want to thank you for gathering here. Thank you for being with me in this world, this chaos, this tumultuous world. Let us please take 1 or 2 minutes just to be at rest and be at peace. Find the center in ourselves to ground us so we can handle the storm outside, quell the raging winds in our own body so we can meet whatever the world faces us. I invite you all to find and pour yourself a lovely libation, whatever drink most fills your soul right now. I have the most blessed water of our life right now, just plain water. Take a cup, fill it with whatever will feed and nurture your spirit. The empty cup calls out to be filled with liquid, nurturing, strength, inspiration, and cup. Just as our body itself is an empty vessel calling out to be fed and watered and given the gift of inspiration. So take this cup, this vessel that was once empty, filled with life, filled with power, filled with dreams, and imbibe. Let your libation give you the inspiration and dreams that we all need. Welcome to this path of peace, my friends. This path to quell our body and our spirits while we mourn so much loss, so much chaos. What, my friends, though, is the spiritual path? It's so easy to imagine that it is this path has something sweet and gentle and easy. It's easy to imagine that a life lived towards spirit is good vibes all the way. God doesn't swear, neither should we, so we tell ourselves or have been told. Just leave your troubles outside. Yeah, right. Leave our troubles outside. If my troubles get booted out, friends, they'll drag me out with them, kicking and screaming all the way if need be. One of my favorite stories about the spiritual life is from the Hebrew Scriptures. The story is in the book of Genesis, when Jacob, one of the patriarchs, is wandering down a road and encounters a spiritual being. And they start fighting and wrestling all night long. The fight lasts until daybreak, when the spiritual being asks to be released. And Jacob, holding him tight, agrees to let this being go in exchange for a blessing. This being blesses Jacob with a new name, Israel, one who has wrestled with God and with men. Israel leaves that place with a limp, changed in body and in name. And that, my friends, is the spiritual journey. The spiritual journey is when it's 3 a.m. and you're bugging out, you can't sleep, you're itchy and you're twitchy. We've all been there. And you're just wired and running down some poorly lit street, one you've walked 100 times before during the day. But at night, the street, it's sinister and strange, and you've noticed how empty and fake it all is. Then, bam! You run right into God. You trip over each other and sprawl out on the ground, you and God just lying there. And in rage, was it surprise? It was preemptive self-defense. You sucker punch that fool before he can get you. Or did he sucker punch you? Either way, you tell it differently every single time you tell it. You remember it differently. It was all a blur anyhow. The next thing you know, the two of you are wrestling, you and God. You're on the ground, biting, scratching, throwing each other about, then charging right back into each other. You give as good as you get. But in all the chaos, you don't know which way is up or down. It's dizzying, it's maddening. And somehow, through all the pushing and shoving, you start to realize that you are actually being held. You are being held. You realize that this is the closest you've been to anyone in God knows how long. And soon, not from pain, you're in tears. And you're asking for a blessing. You're giving thanks for being held and asking to be seen. And believe it or not, Spirit blesses you, sees you, names you, and departs. You fall asleep right there in the street and have the sweetest dreams. You wake up amongst the smell of stale beer and cigarettes, a comforting smell. It reminds you of better times, when you were young and carefree, a time before hangovers. You brush yourself off, you've got new scars, but that's okay. What are a few more scars anyway? You've wrestled with God and with yourself, and found that you're enough. You always were, no matter how low it gets. And you always will be, no matter what tomorrow brings. The spiritual path is some brutal terrain, and just when you think there is nothing but fighting and rage, despair and ennui, the thunderbolt hits you and reminds you that no matter what, you are seen and loved. Fuck. The spiritual path is made for 3 a.m. My friends, a prayer. Once again, take your cup, your libation. Taste the sweet, inspiring drink. Beloved God, the phantom lingering just outside the streetlight, the guide when the stars are drowned out, show us the way. When we have no peace in our souls, when we curse and hate ourselves and feel like shit, find us, grab us, hold us, do whatever it takes to remind us that we are loved and lovable. We don't need anything, or to be anyone other than who we are, to be held by you. Bless us and call us by our name. Amen. P.S. If what we need is more than what spiritual help can offer, please give us the strength to reach out to friends, colleagues, and professionals. Amen. Thank you for gathering with me, my friends. Thank you for this brief moment with Sacred Mischief. I am the emcee, Zeb Green, the master of ceremonies on this twisting, turning journey of ours. I use the pronouns they, them, and it's a blessing to spend some time with you. Please know that you can always reach out to me. We're always here. This journey goes ever onwards, and you do not need to go it alone. Amen, my friends.